This week on The Woman Behind the Business, creating visibility and leaving a lasting impression. You know me, I'm your host, Angel Livas, and today we're going to tackle a few topics that I think every business owner has at least dealt with at least once or twice in their career. When you think about reaching your target audience, one way to do it is to hire a branding or PR consultant. Well, Chandra Gore has made it easy on her prospective clients to have the best of both worlds.
This week on The Woman Behind the Business,
Chandra,
visibility and leaving a lasting impression.
Sorry, y'all.
You know me, I'm your host.
I don't know if that's on my
and today
computer.
we're going to tackle a few topics that I think
feedback.
Yes, I heard a little feedback. So I'm gonna pick up with you, Chandra. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so Chandra Gore has made it easy on her prospective clients to have the best of both worlds. Chandra Gore Consulting is a boutique consulting firm that provides PR, branding, and marketing services. As a woman who knows how to execute a plan, she also founded SCM Productions and has a new comedy series available on the most prominent online store, Amazon. I'm super excited to have you with me today, Chandra. And I'm like so ready to just dive in because I feel like there's so much that I would love to talk to you about. So thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, let's start with a little bit of education. One of the number one things that I notice when it comes to people who have businesses or are aspiring business owners, or even just people who are just everyday people, right? They really don't know the difference between branding, marketing, and PR. Can you educate us with that real quick?
So, your public relations, let's say public relations is communication.
Mm-hmm.
Branding is your look. Marketing is the message that you want to send out to people, for them to know your business, to know your brand. So, all of those things. So, to make it easier, is communications, public relations, your message. Then you have your brand, which is your logo, and your marketing materials that you use to showcase your logos and stuff like that. I'm trying to break it down to make it so that people understand the different buckets. Because if I go to the definition, people will get lost. Yeah. So, and most of the time, because it's a lot of it overlaps, but all of these things are succinct with each other, and they all intertwine. So, if you have a publicist, they will take your brand and they will market you and to the customer or to the audience that you want, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how all of that works together. Because somebody actually said, "Oh, I have my branding. I have a logo." Oh, okay. But who are you? Like, what's your story? So all of these things intertwine out, and I hope that makes sense and answers it so that everyone understands the difference. Because your publicist or your public relations firm, either they can be community-based, where they market you or pitch you to your community so they know who you are, or they have your crisis management. Like, say your CEO says something, and they have to make a crisis statement to help soothe over your audience and the community as well. So all of these things come into play. So public communication, branding is logo, marketing is the message that you want to send out, if that breaks it down.
Okay. And you were smart because you were like, I'm just going to do it all to make it easy on people who really don't know what they need. They just know they need me.
Yes. So and that's the biggest thing, because most of the time people are coming to me, I need you to help me with my marketing. Marketing what?
Right.
Like, what are we selling? What do you want people to know about you? What is your message? And so a lot of my clients didn't realize that their foundation was not where it needed to be before they started marketing and pushing their brand out to the masses. So we had to take them down the platform and build them back up so that when they are marketed and, press releases go out, events are happening, they can handle the influx of customers or clients. And so that way a publicist doesn't have to come in behind them and clean up the bad press. So having all of that structure first makes a great
That's actually what I want to ask you next. Like, what have you pinpointed, or what do you typically see are the things that people start off bad and where they need
not registered.
Okay, go ahead.
They think that their business, they think because they found a logo and they have a great product or a great service, that's it. No, your business has to be registered. It has to have an EIN. It has to be registered with the state or commonwealth you live in. If it's a nonprofit, it has to get your nonprofit status. You can't accept money saying, "Oh, we're about to be a nonprofit." No. Right now, you're just taking people's money, and that's not how this works. So, a lot of times, they don't have a standard operating procedure. There's no foundation of a actual business. It's just an idea and a logo that they got from Fiverr. So, and I love Fiverr to death, and I tell because that's my staff for real. But at the same time, just having a logo and some cake jars does not make yourself a business.
Right.
That's just.
At what point do you feel like people should actually start to invest in? Because if you think about it, well, previously before, BC, before COVID, yes, life was as if 90% of women entrepreneurs were solo entrepreneurs. So they were doing all aspects of their business. But I believe that there needs to be a shift that occurs where you're no longer relying completely on yourself to execute and get the work done. At what point do you think that shift should take place?
At the beginning.
Really?
I think at the beginning.
Even if they feel like they don't have capital to pay other people to assist them?
Barter. Mm-hmm. Make it, I think that support in starting a business is key. You can have, when I initially started, I was like, well, that's relying on my father. He gave me some tips and stuff. That's different because he was a serial entrepreneur. That's different. But when I came to other people, when I first started out, before I launched my business fully, I was bartering with different people. Like, hey, I can help you with your business plan, and you promote my event. Different things like that. We'll do it that way. But the bartering has to be equal or greater in a way. Mm-hmm. So say you have a dessert business, right? And you don't know how to register your business. So I'm having an event coming up in 2 months. You can do the desserts for my business. I will get your business, your legitimate business, make you legitimate. I will walk you through the process and help you register your business. Mm-hmm. I'll even help you with a business plan. And that's how you barter. That's how you make it worth someone's while, because by the time that event comes, your business is registered. I have another client under my belt, and I have desserts or, light bites for my event. Mm-hmm. So it pays off in the end. But people really have to shift their way of thinking that everything it's not always about capital, having working capital.
That money. Yeah.
It's actually the sweat equity that you're willing to put into each other's business to make it worthwhile. So even if you don't have the money, partner with someone. Hey, listen, I don't have the money to pay you, but what else can I offer? Mm-hmm. And do it that way. And as a sisterhood, a lot of women, we have to be able to rely on each other, not take advantage, but rely on each other for the support that's needed. There's a lot of people are afraid to ask for that. And that should be something that should be on the forefront. Like, how can we collaborate and get things done? I mean, that's only fair. I think that's fair.
Now, a lot of businesses also either go through a rebranding phase or as a startup, just trying to identify who they are, what their voice is, and how to kind of connect to that target audience, right? What would you say are 3 key ingredients to increasing your brand's visibility?
1, hone in on your message that you want to convey. Mm-hmm. Take the time to write out exactly what you would like your message to be and how you would like to look to your ideal client or customer. 2, sit down and look at your imaging. If you don't want to be, at one point in time it was Realtor Bay, Teacher Bay, all of that. If you started your brand and you have evolved from that into a different way, look at how you want to be packaged and viewed from that point, because your mission is different from the actual packaging. And then the third thing I would say is consult with someone to help you to combine those first two steps and launching your rebranding or your rebranding of your business. I mean, because without a third eye or someone who's not as invested into into the basics of your business, someone who doesn't see it the way that you see it, having someone outside look at it to make sure it does make sense will help you to succeed. So those are my three things that I would do.
No, that's good. Now, for a consultant, okay, I'm not even going to put you in a category of branding, marketing, or business, any of those things. Just as a consultant, what is the most trying situation for you to be brought into for a business? I mean, I know I have my thoughts, and I'll even say for me, it's very hard when people come in as a know-it-all and they think that they've done everything right, and then when you critique it, it's like they think, well, who are you? Like, well, I'm the person you paid to do this. You know what I mean? Like, so what has been your truth in regards to when people come in and it's kind of like, you did what? What has been a moment like that for you?
Oh my gosh. I was hired to redo the structure of someone's business, and I listed all of the changes that need to be made. And I was basically, so that's not what I hired you for. Wait. Oh. In my SOW, it said.
And let's break down. SOW is your statement of work.
Statement of work.
Yes.
Yes. It explicitly said that I was to review, advise, and provide steps to improve the following things. Mm-hmm. Because before I took them on as a client, I looked at their social media, their digital presence. I looked at how they conducted their business, and I gave them an analysis and told them these are the things that had to be changed. And apparently that's not what I was hired for whatever reason. And that was the most trying. I still laugh about it because I want to say their name and I can't do it. But it was a trying experience, and I learned so much from that because I saw it as a failure for a little bit. Mm-hmm. But then there were so many lessons learned because you can't save everybody.
This is true.
Can't. I embody people's businesses as my own when I start working with them. And I realized that you can't love somebody's dream more than they do. Mm-hmm. Amen. So you have to leave them where they are. And I think me and God had a lot of conversations. We had a lot of conversations during that time. But it brought clarity in exactly where I needed to be as a business and as a person to not take on the emotional part of working with people and understanding like they're going to say or feel how they feel. You just have to go with it.
We are speaking with Chandra Gore, the woman behind Chandra Gore Consulting. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between branding a business and branding an individual. Is it the same process, or is it structured differently? Are there different steps that people should be thinking about when it comes to branding themselves versus their business?
I'm going to speak from my personal experience because I'm in the process of branding myself. Okay. And I had to separate the two. My consulting company, my production company, my festival, all of those things are separate from myself. So I had to look at exactly what I wanted my personal brand to be, the speaker, the author, the moderator. That's what I wanted to, walk into and convey to my audience. Separate from being a consultant or, a publicist, I had to look at exactly what I wanted to be, what I wanted to appear as to people that I'm pitching myself to, or my publicist pitching me to. So when you're looking at a business, it's a staple. So the foundations are the same, but the message is a little bit different because it's more personal. Mm-hmm. because you're actually branding a person and you want to sell their story.
Right.
So there's the differences that I feel like are between branding a company versus branding a person.
Now, one thing that you said that I thought was very key, and I don't even know if you said it. I mean, if you know that you said it. You said, or someone that's branding you.
Yes.
A lot of times we try to do everything for ourselves, and we may be great at doing whatever that skill set is for someone else. But when it comes to doing it for ourselves, sometimes it's even hard just to talk about yourself or to be able to say, this is what I need to pinpoint. For people who feel like, well, I just would rather do it myself. Like, what would you say to that person as a dose of insight and why they should potentially seek others to assist them with things, even if they do have the skill set to do it for themselves?
I know I don't have that skill set. I can't look at myself as someone else. I can't do that. So that's the biggest thing. Another person will be able to pull out of you what you'll miss for yourself. That's where you have to have someone else bring you. Because I forgot about things that I accomplished. When I sat down and I went over it with my publicist, she pulled things out of me that I accomplished, and I didn't even realize that I missed that for myself. So having someone else talk to you through your branding process will help you to find different things that you would overall miss, because you don't think twice about it because it's done. So you definitely need an outside source to help you brand yourself. That is the biggest thing, because you're only looking through your eyes when you're looking at yourself as the brand. So that outside source will help you to learn more about yourself. I've learned a lot from myself. I'm only speaking from my personal experience. I've learned a lot from myself while branding.
Yeah. No, I think that's so important. And I don't think a lot of people realize, unless they go through that process of sitting with somebody else and them asking you the questions, and you're just like, oh, dang. Like, I would have missed out on so many things that I bring to the table because it's such a natural thing for you that you just think, oh, I shouldn't include that. I shouldn't. No. All of it is a part of who you are, a part of your brand, and a part of your execution, and how others relate to you. So, no, that's good. That was real good. Now, again, we are speaking with Chandra Gore, the woman behind Chandra Gore Consulting, and she is a storyteller, a production company owner. Like, I'm loving this. Before I go into the production company full-fledged, when it comes to storytelling, how important is it to convey a compelling story to your audience?
It's very important, because you're able to connect with people on that emotional level. So, and people will pay attention and initially buy into what you're trying to sell them, or, sympathize with you if the story is, is tugging at their heartstrings. So it's very, very important to tell your story, or tell a story in a way that it kind of, I'm trying to get my words together. I want to make sure I say it correctly, because words are so important. So it actually will help someone to understand where you're coming from and sympathize or see it from your point of view, if that makes sense.
No, I got you. So with the story, though, would you say that, I'm huge on the story. I'm huge on figuring out how do you use that to connect to your target audience. How do you speak their language? How do you draw them in? Once you have them drawn in, or let's say you have a big event, because you do a lot of events that you're marketing and promoting for. What's one secret that you typically use to get butts in seats? Because if you're somebody who throws events, like our next guest that we're going to be introducing you all to, you want to know, okay, look, I got this event. My goal is to have 150 people there. I'm trying to get these butts in these seats. What can I do?
Well, I will have to take from an experience that I had. I used to when I worked in private sector. My job was the whole fireside chats, and so the max we could seat was 300. So I had to appeal to a certain subset of millennials who were. It was a special industry, so I actually had to tailor my message and explain to them why it was important for them to be there. But I had to meet them at that level because that's when Airbnb was a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to appeal to the market. The I can't say the company name, so like trying to get it together on how I did that.
Was it a free event or was it a paid event?
It was a paid event, a part of a large convention. So we took over a whole city for 2 weeks. So in that 2 week span, I had to get 300 people in that one room. And so actually making that event stand out among 2 weeks worth of events was a chore because it was right before happy hour, and then dinner was, dinner time. So I had to promote it or write it so that they would get the education and also have a couple of drinks. But I had to appeal to them wanting to know more about that industry at the same time. So writing.
So it was a storytelling. It was whatever story that you were able to conjure up. It needed to be able to appeal to them, as well as have some incentive behind it.
Correct. So I partnered it with a major beverage company. So we actually used that and to get them in there, and I actually packed it out and sold it out. I was very surprised because between the beverage company and the message, the feedback that I got was I didn't realize I was going to learn how to find my audience or find people who are going to buy this type of car during the happy hour. So it was a great thing. They got the education and they got the drinks and they learned something.
And they got their butts in those seats.
It's very they sat for the whole thing. Like I was surprised because they got their drinks. Because most of the time, once you serve drinks at the beginning, people don't stay. But they sat, they stayed, they learned, and they actually provided the feedback that was necessary for that that manufacturer to understand how to sell to
that
25 to 30, 34-year-olds. Yeah, so it was a great event. It turned out awesome. So I was very happy about that.
Wonderful. So not only did you learn something, but you also executed it successfully. So congratulations.
Correct. I'm sorry I had to, because I was trying to say that. I was about to say the name, but I can't. And it's like,
no, it's okay. All right. Now at this point, I want to definitely at least celebrate you for the launch of your production company, SCM Productions.
Yes.
What was the genesis behind you launching this endeavor?
Okay, so SCM Productions, I actually launched it a couple of years ago because I started hosting comedy shows. Comedy is a part of my brand from the beginning because I'm a lover of comedy and I also dabble a little bit. So, and I wanted to be a female voice in production for comedy shows because there's not a lot of female promoters, especially in this area. There's not a lot in Greater Northern Virginia. So I wanted to make sure I was providing comedic events that appeal to everyone, not just urban comedy, but, comedy across the board, because there's two different worlds, and I wanted to blend the two of them. So I did, it went really well, and then I shot two series, Amazon series that we're still editing because I'm a perfectionist, but I wanted to make sure that under comics that have not gotten the views and the recognition that they deserve, wanted to get them onto a platform that will make them a household name. And so from that, I launched my festival, which was held last year and was pushed to next year because of the fact that because COVID. So this is the things that I'm so proud of. So SCM, but that's basically what started SCM Productions.
All right, so sorry, go ahead. Wanting to what?
Wanting to leave a legacy for my children so that they understood that, you know, even though there's not many of in a genre, there could be,
Right.
you know. So that's what I wanted to teach them now.
Opening that door, I love it. Now
Yep.
talk to us a little bit about They Said What?
Oh, so the comedians that I chose for the series, they always say the most off the wall things. So it's because I actually heard in the crowd from one of the shows I hosted, they said, "What?" That's what one of the audience members said. And I said, "Oh, that's perfect." So I kept that, and so that's why I needed to make that my series name, because a lot of the acts or you'll hear that a lot of people are going to say, "They said what?" when you listen to their sets. So it's a great thing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, that will be available soon on Amazon,
Yeah.
correct?
It will be on Amazon Prime, and then also I hold a digital distribution deal. So I'm working with them to get that translated over to audio so that people can listen on Pandora, Tidal, Spotify, and all of that. So
now, how hard or difficult was it to get that distribution deal with Amazon?
It was actually with one of the 12 distribution companies. That's with a whole different label. Amazon was easy because I created that and I, opened it up myself.
Mm-hmm.
But the digital distribution deal, it took me 9 months to negotiate with the label, because you can't just go directly to Pandora, Spotify, and Tidal. You have to have a distribution company to do that. And so not a lot of people have that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they end up selling their works to someone. And so the deal that I have is every comic will own their rights to their works. I will never own it. It's theirs. So they'll get the residual.
And is it only comedians that you will represent or house on your channel? Or have you not thought it that far?
I have. I actually opened it up to any comedian from this area that wants to be on the channel.
Yeah, but what if they're not funny?
Now, see, I didn't want to say nothing about that part. I always have this conversation, and I say, listen, if your auntie and them said you funny, and I don't think you're funny, we're going to have a little problem. So I'm very blunt with people, like, no, you want to work on the you want to help me set up the microphones and stuff, you can do that. But you can't get on the stage. Like, this is not, but I think that everybody's opinion of funny is different.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I have,
final say.
I have the right to cut you out of the situation. I'm gonna get this time, but you're not gonna embarrass me out in the public. I mean, but I tried, like, for my festival, we had one comic, I will say, on the fourth night, he did everybody's jokes, and I'm like, do y'all not hear this? And it was so awkward. So he ended up being disqualified, and I had to tell him, like, listen, this is what the audience said, and this is what I found out. You did this joke by this person, and some of the people were here. So, sorry.
Right. Unacceptable. Well, this has been so good. You're going to stay with us. We have, you're going to hang out with us for the next half of the show. But right now, we are going to get ready, and we're going to take a quick pause, just 60 seconds. And when we come back, you will meet the woman behind the scenes. Stay with us. All right.
Why y'all make me say that?
Good morning and welcome to Angel Prayer Breakfast. I'm your host, Angel Ryder, and I'm excited to present you.
They can't hear.
Fill up the room, oh God. We enlarge you this morning. I just thank you, Lord God.
Oh Lord,
my bad.
I'm available to you.
There is nothing you have going on in your life that can change God from being who God is.
Because I know that the stars keep record of the moments of joy that I find, because when I'm in it.
And so I want to share with you 3 things to help you manage your unwanted emotions and your feelings in life.
Because you are God, and beside you, there is no other.
Not one, no. not one.
All right, hopefully you should be able to hear us now. So let me do that all over again, just in case people missed that introduction. All right, so here we go. We're going from the top, y'all. Welcome back to the Woman Behind the Business Talk Show. I'm your host, Angel Livas, and now I'm excited to introduce to you Miss Angela Hanks. She is the founder of Behind the Scenes. She has galvanized her skills from the Recording Academy, Sony Music, Live Nation, as well as the home of the Woman Behind the Business radio show, DC Office of Cable Television, Music, and Entertainment. Hopefully everybody can hear us. Okay. I'm like, what's happening? All right, awesome. Everybody can hear us. We're good to go. Angela, thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So, Angela, talk to me a little bit about your desire to start your own business.
I think it kind of just comes with having a divine connection to understanding your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really big on people who try to walk and work in their purpose. So for me, I love festivals. That's my thing. And I love the way a festival makes me feel. It makes me feel free. The amount of joy to be a part of a group of people and we're all in the same space, experiencing this high level of fun, that inspired me to say, "Oh man, I gotta make this for other people." So that pretty much kicked it off, and I was like, "Yeah, I want to create festivals and create other events that inspire people and educate and inform people as well." So that's really where the origins of inspiration came from.
Now, when it comes to music, because it really sounds like the root of all of this is your passion and love for music, what would you say is like one of those things that music can do to an experience to either enhance it or just completely like dead it?
True. Music definitely plays one of the biggest roles when it comes to an attendee's experience. So, having the right music will set a tone for an event that your attendees can either feel really energized or almost deflated in a sense based on not having the right type of music. But yes, music is definitely deeply rooted within me. I was blessed to have amazing parents who are in the and to see and here we are today.
Awesome. Audio was going out just a little bit, but I know you said deeply rooted from your parents. Thank you. I loved it. All right. So you hailed from Chicago to the DC area. And so I love that you're always representing Chicago. And I know personally that you have this desire to do more of a global type festival. talk to us a little bit about your desire and why you think that it's important and what healing can potentially be fostered from like a global type of event.
I think it's just important for people to really get a sense of other people's cultures. And music is, to me, like food. It brings people together. It makes them feel good. At the end of it, my desire to have a festival in multiple countries really kind of stems from that. I want people to not only just have an amazing experience, but also learn something different, be able to interact with different people that they may not have had that opportunity to do so had we had only had this event in the States.
Right. No, that's so true. Now, you currently are a double dipper. That's what I call y'all. You have a full-time business as well as you have newly launched your platform as a business owner. How are you able to manage balancing life as, you know, a full-time employee as well as your personal business?
I think that just comes with determination and organization, and obviously time management. I think that, you know, of course, you definitely got to pay attention to the work that pays your bills. But when it comes to, you know, honing in on your passion and really developing the things that you desire and want to create, you have to be steadfast in that idea and just go gun-ho for it. So if that means staying up later, if that means readjusting schedules all the time, then that's what you have to do. You got to miss hanging out. We ain't hanging out with nobody right now. But if we were out, if the outside was open, you know, you're going to have to miss some happy hours. You're going to have to miss some hanging out moments and traveling to different places in order to really dig deep and get the work done. But to balance that, of course, you know, I think that comes with to each his own, in a sense. For me, it's meditation, prayer. And so far, during this time, it's been a lot of house partying with my siblings. That's hilarious.
Right.
And, you know, family Zoom calls and, you know, just regular voice calls as well. That's really been keeping me very grounded and balanced.
Now, when it comes to event planning, what are some key essentials that you would share with other people to keep top of mind as they're going through the planning to execution phase?
You know, really understand what you're trying to, like what your theme is of your event. What are you trying to convey? What feeling or what information do you want people to absorb at your event? Once you get into that, obviously understanding who your target audience is, that's key. You know, if you're going to target 15-year-olds, be clear on, you know what I mean, who that audience is and what draws them in. And how would you market that event and things like that. So some of those, obviously the budget. If you are planning the event yourself, marking out your marketing budget. If when the outside opens up, you know, your location budget and what that looks like. Are you going to host food? Are you going to have a green room? Things like that. And are you going to dabble into the transportation costs for your guests? Production.
Now, how keen is it listening? Because I feel like that's one thing that when it comes to event planning that I personally think is like, as a person who may be seeking services, that I want to know, like, okay, like how well do you actually listen and then execute based on what's being said, both spoken and unsaid? Is that like something like as a business owner that you're constantly kind of documenting not only what people are saying, but kind of those side things? They might make a little comment here or there, even though it's not said, this is what I want, but you know it's something that's really important to them.
Yeah, that's definitely important, especially when you're working with clients. Hearing their vision, everybody doesn't know how to properly communicate what they think they want.
Right.
And being able to introduce different creative ideas or different ways, if a pivot is necessary and what that can look like, is very helpful to the client. And it's usually like a gold star for you.
Mhm.
So, yeah, being an active listener and being able to translate somebody's vision, even if they only give you a few sentences, and what translating that information into an actual idea of an event
Mhm.
is super key.
Now, as a startup, what would you say are some of the key elements to kind of that help guide you, really push your business forward, get your clients, and have that confidence that's needed to really be successful as a business owner?
I would definitely say the executive program that I did with you was amazing. It kind of tightened up different areas of foundation. So if you are starting up as a small business and you feel like you have some loose ends that you need to tie up, I would recommend an executive program. And if you're trying to find one, you too can reach out to Angel regarding her main hustle executive program. I would definitely recommend that. But doing your research and figuring out, the different elements in order to operate effectively and efficiently, that's probably the best advice I could give as a small business owner.
Now, what would you say is the one element that is important to make that transition? Because you're still in that double dipper stage. What, like, when you hit XYZ, what will that XYZ be to help you really just say, you know what, I'm diving all in?
I think it comes, I think that comes with obviously how much money you're making, first of all, and being realistic about your sustainability, not just from a personal standpoint, but how sustainable are your clients? How sustainable are you when it comes to retaining clients and seeking new clients? So once you get into a space where you find yourself really needing to hone all of your attention and time to just your business, and you have the funds to show for that need, then yeah, you can have you need to start having a conversation. I personally like to have a chit chat with the Lord before I make a move. So I would suggest having a conversation with God or whoever you serve, and just making sure that this would be the right time and space for you to make that transition and fully dive solely into your personal business.
And so, okay, so we hit on with the event, it's all about, having that keen ear, listening. And how would you say you personally go about execution? And I know that, like, right now you have a lot of different things that you're interested in, right? But, like, how do you prioritize that execution? Like, if I have, let's say I'm helping somebody with a video vlog, I'm helping somebody with a virtual, because a lot of things are virtual right now, a virtual event. How do you execute and plan for, hey, this is what's most important right now?
I think it comes down to, the seriousness and progression. If you're dealing with a client, everybody's not ready to start at that moment when they approach you. Everyone's not always that ready. And so that kind of changes the prioritization there. I hear a little bit of feedback. I don't know if anyone else is hearing that.
I can't hear.
I think. Okay, we might be all right. I'm not sure. So in reference to clients, it's kind of like gauging where your clients are with what they want to execute. And if you're dealing with personal projects, it's a time management piece. Do you have deadlines for yourself for the things that you're producing? So, for example, myself and Noise on Resistance produced Livewire, which we recently postponed, but due to what's happening in our social justice issues right now. But, having that and being engaged in other areas and also having a client, time management, obviously just being super organized is what'll get you through in order to execute in every place without killing yourself in the process.
Let me ask you this. How did you feel when you got your first client after completing the Main Hustle Executive Program and being able to eventually have multiple clients? What was that process like? Because a lot of times people are afraid. I feel like that imposter syndrome sometimes settles into us and makes us like, not quite sure if like I really can do this. Like, how did it feel for you to have kind of like that confirmation?
For me, it's kind of familiar feeling as it was executing my first event on my own with Level Up. So, just being able to jump out there and jump the cliff and just go for it. Sometimes you just have to just try. You know what I mean? You gotta have a sense of fearlessness and confidence or some level of cockiness that will just take you through. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, I don't know. No, that's not hitting. You're gonna have to just jump and go for it. You know what I mean? Like, or you're gonna sit there scared and broke.
Oh, goodness. No, this is awesome. This has been really, really good, Angela. Thank you so much for sharing your journey to behind the scenes. And where can we learn more about behind the scenes? And, what all are your service offerings?
Sure, no problem. So, currently, even, during COVID, we are definitely working. If you guys, if those out there want to get in contact with me and find out more about my services, definitely you can DM me on Instagram. I'm super active on Instagram. That's B_T_S 20 on IG. Or send me an email at btsllc2@gmail.com. And services that we offer, we'll put together a panel, any type of celebration event, because a lot of people are doing that because you can go to the outside. Not fully just yet. I mean, I know we're phasing it through, but not fully. And also in-person entertainment events is also something that we do, and consulting for event management and things like that. So if you have an event and you're like, oh snap, getting too crazy, I need help, we offer for that too.
Awesome. All right. So you're going to stay with us as well. At this point, I am going to bring Chandra back into the conversation. Hey, Chandra.
Hello.
So at this point in the show, this is where we are going to get ready for our Moments from the Valley. Moments from the Valley is when you will share a particular place in time or a situation that you did not know how you were going to make it out of. So I would like to know what that situation was, how you made it out, and what was waiting for you on the other side. And Chandra, we are actually going to start with you.
Okay. Well, the situation was when I was working in private sector and I did not know which way I was going to go, if I was going to stay in private sector or if I was going to transition to being a full-time entrepreneur. And basically, I saved, I planned, but I still didn't make the leap. And it wasn't until I had a conversation, I got your feedback a little bit. It wasn't until I had a conversation with a mentor of mine. We prayed about it, and then we worked through it, and lo and behold, my position was downsized. So it actually worked out in my favor because it was something I was trying to get through. and I didn't know how to make the transition, and it was the happiest moment. So I would say that was a situation that I was in a situation, I didn't know which way to go, and the path was provided for me, and that was one of the greatest things that ever happened for me. I had been asking and I hadn't been listening, and there's been so many outlets, and I finally got the out. So I can smile so bright because I finally listened. And God don't play. He will kick you out of something if he tells you once, then twice. When you don't listen, he'll be like, "Oh, okay, here you go. Like, let me go ahead and make you understand." So that's one of the greatest things that ever happened that got me through the valley into greatness. For me to focus on the things that I love so much. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really, really appreciate it. All right, Angela, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think just the first event for Level Up, it was a songwriting and music business panel, and I had the idea but had really no clue on how I was going to get a panel of people. So, I think a lot of prayer and really tapping into your resources and community. That's really where my panel came from. Relationships.
key.
They are everything in a bag of chips. That really pretty much got me through and just staying focused. Having to pull something like that together, and it turned out to be pretty great. And keeping a full-time job with part-time jobs is stressful, but won't he do it?
Amen.
That is how I got through it. Really, honestly, it's just Jesus. He be guiding me through.
She said it's just Jesus.
He is your rock, girl.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, ladies, thank you so much for sharing your journeys with us today. This has been so much fun. This is actually my first time having multiple people on at the same time for the show, even though this is typically how we do it in studio. But we're moving with the ebbs and flow of life. Again, thank you both for joining us. I've incredibly enjoyed the wealth of information that you have shared, just your stories, and just being able and willing to open up about even your valley moments. I truly believe that when you're able to share your valley moments, it's not just a depiction of for you and what you went through, but it's to help other people who may be in that place right now, or maybe really going through something and need that boost of encouragement to let them know, hey, you're not alone, and there is light on the other side. So, Chandra, can you share some social media information and business information with how people can get in contact with you?
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at Seaboard Consults, and also at Conversations with Chan. You can also, the production company is SCM Productions 1 and Genova Comedy Fest that will be coming back next year. So you can visit my website, www.chandragoreconsulting.com, and you'll find links to each one of the businesses there.
Awesome.
Yes.
And Angela, can you give us your Instagram handles just one more time, please?
Sure. So for Instagram, it's B_T_S20 at Gmail. I'm sorry, at Instagram.
There's no at.
Reach out to me, but send me an email. If you really got that life, send me an email.
Yes.
It's like, I'm about these coins. So.
Yes. Like that quote, yes.
Y'all have been so much fun. Thank you so much for sharing your testimonies. Thank you for sharing your information. I pray that the information that you all have shared with our audience today proves to be beneficial and will minister to their hearts in a way that will move them outside of whatever limitations they felt as though they were having, and will move them to their greatest destiny. So, that is our show for today. Please be sure to check out past broadcasts on our website, wbbtalk.com. And if you're looking for a little motivation on Saturday mornings, join me and some of my friends for our weekly prayer breakfast. It's an hour of goodness from 10 to 11 to get you filled, motivated, and prepared for the week ahead. Follow me on Instagram at Angel and Livis to learn how to access all of my special events. We have a lot of great things coming up, including a special called I Am Black that will take place on June 19th here on YouTube. We have some dynamic speakers. It's a 2-hour event. It's going to be phenomenal. So I definitely hope that you will follow me on social media so you can stay in the know with our I Am Black program. And again, you can follow us on The Woman Behind the Business on all social media platforms at WBB Talk. A special thank you to our amazing ladies for being here with us. And of course, I still shout out my producer of The Woman Behind the Business talk show for radio, Cal Murdoch, and our program director, Max Myrick. Until next time, y'all, be blessed. Yay! Awesome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.